So people are coming in, and just wanted to say that like we haven't started the meeting yet. So if you want to just quickly introduce yourself, say hello. Some people already did. Go ahead and do that now.
Okay. Hello, guys. My name is Heegu. It's Korean name. I know it's hard to pronounce, but anyway, you can say Heegu anyway. But yeah, I'm just work for Allied University now, like as a step software engineer. I'm doing Node.JS, TypeScript, React, front end. So database, I use MongoDB and PostgreSQL. Yeah, so it's really great to meet you here. Oh, and then yeah, just thank you for giving me this great opportunity, BJ.
Of course. And like I said to Higu, it doesn't matter to me like if you're international or you're national.
Okay.
Like language is fine. Like we can always help.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think like you said, I think the code that you're doing is pretty cool. So I wanted people to kind of have a chance to see that first and foremost.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure to have presentation in front of you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If anybody else wants to just say hello, just go ahead, and this is the time to do it.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. What's your name?
Hello.
My name is Ramesh. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, glad to see all of you.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Temecula, Southern California.
Okay.
Riverside County.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. That's cool. What do you do?
I used to work in integration side, like middleware. So I'm trying to get myself acquainted with some kind of web application side to get more employability.
Oh, awesome. All right.
Awesome.
Well, welcome to the group. Thanks for coming.
Welcome.
Anybody else want to say hello? Let us know who you are.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Who is this?
Hi, my name is Casey Kim. I'm right now I'm more backend engineer. I used to be a full stack engineer for over 3 years, and now I'm in LA. I'm mostly backend engineer using Ruby on Rails, but I do full stack with Rails and React when it comes to like Admin Studio, Attack Studio, like those little things for our admins. So yeah.
Definitely. That's cool. Ruby on Rails developer. We have a couple Ruby on Rails developers in the group, so you should say hello. One person I know definitely, probably maybe today on this call might like connect with you.
So actually, I'm from the Ruby on Rails meetup group.
Okay.
Yeah, the big Ruby on Rails meetup. I was talking to them about like JavaScript and new JavaScript plugins. Like, I've been maintaining React code, but I haven't like architected it myself from the scratch. So I was more interested in learning more JavaScript. Recommended me to JavaScript LA meetup group. But then right after that, the COVID happened, so it was really unfortunate that I couldn't.
No, it's one of those.
Hang on one sec, okay? Hang on one sec.
Definitely a luxury.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. But then, yeah, it's really good that you guys are having this Zoom like virtual meetup. That I actually got to see some of you, and then also get to see how you guys are doing, like what kind of project you guys are working on and stuff like that. Because I'm really eager to see your like coding styles and guidelines, because like when it comes to Ruby, we do have a strict like Ruby coding style guide and lecture guides, but then when it comes to like React and JavaScript, it's just like so much freedom, and I'm pretty lost all the time. So
Definitely. Yeah, you came to the right place. That's great. I'm glad you came, and I'm actually really impressed with your background. So definitely network with us afterwards. You know about our Discord channel, right? No? Okay. I'm going to do like a little spiel about all that real quick, just so people joining can like figure that out, and then I'll give people a chance to continue talking as well.
I might have to put my, like video and speaker off for a second because I'm still like looking. But
Oh,
then,
yeah, yeah.
But then
Yeah.
I'm here and then I am staying focused. And if you guys don't see me, just believe me that I'm still here.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So as far as video goes, you guys can all turn off your video until like you want to speak. And then, like same thing with your mic. I actually prefer people to keep their mic muted until like they actually want to, say something or ask a question. So totally fine. It's really Heegu and myself who keep our videos on.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to just do a real quick share screen as well. And I'm going to just, I do this pretty much every single time. But I think, every single time we have new people on the call. So, I just want to make sure that nobody is confused and basically they kind of understand what this group is all about. So real quick, we've been calling ourselves JavaScript LA for a long time. That's pretty much what we've always, branded ourselves. So the website is javascriptla.net, but as you noticed here now, we are starting to call ourselves HackBuddy. And that's really because we don't really meet up in LA anymore. LA is kind of, after pre-COVID, right? Like we've basically gone online and we've started doing remote meetings with Zoom or Google Meets and all that stuff. And we also built like a YouTube channel and we have LinkedIn, we have Instagram, we have all these different social media things. So we reach a lot more people nowadays. And so it makes sense to have a name that's not as confusing. So like, JavaScript LA is fine for, Los Angeles, but we also meet up in Orange County. We also meet up with pretty much anybody. Like, so moving forward, we're going to be calling ourselves HackBuddy. And you should be aware of those changes. If you go to javascriptla.net, that's pretty much the site you'll go to right now. Even in the future, if you go to javascriptla.net, we will be saying, that we'll call ourselves HackBuddy more often. So big, important change, something to understand. I know change is hard for a lot of people, so that's why I want to talk about it as much as possible, throughout these meetups and videos. If you are wondering where you're going to be able to see the video next, then you're going to want to go to youtube.com/hackbuddyorg, O-R-G. And then basically you'll go here, make sure you subscribe, and then like you can see all of our past meetup videos here, and you can comment on them, you can leave a thumbs up or whatever you like. And most of the time too, the people who did these videos, like all the different speakers, I think they kind of still hang around too. So if you miss a meetup and you're not able to ask a question that you want, you can leave a comment here and we'll get it to the right person, or I'm pretty sure, the speaker themselves will respond. So that's a good thing. I think that's actually great because like, in the past when we had meetups, you had to just kind of rush to the meetup to be able to see the speaker, but now like it's more of a network. We're kind of all, together. So I like that. And then, also I think a lot of newbies ask like how to do like programming questions. So we're kind of building up our channel to have like all kinds of content to help you. I really like this, how to do stuff series. You might want to check that out if you're like trying to get caught up on JavaScript, array, find, reduce, filter, map, all that stuff. If you need help with ES6, there's a playlist, as well as React, as well as, just like my own, like, if you want to hear some like career counseling, there's me. Like what should you do if you want to be a programmer? So definitely check out youtube.com/hackbuddyorg. And then, like I said, we have these other social media channels. I think a lot of people like Twitter. So if you're a Twitter person, you can go to the same URL, hackbuddyorg. And then if you found us on meetup.com, the meetup URLs will probably still be the same just for legacy purposes. But moving forward too, we're going to be calling ourselves HackBuddy there. The thing that I wanted to mention to people was be sure to join our Discord. Discord is pretty similar to Slack. If you go to the JavaScript LA website and click on this banner, or you contact me, or you click, I guess, this link too, there's always some link that kind of mentions going to HackBuddy and going to the Discord channel. So you'll want to sign up here. This is my, so just people always ask me like, why is your stuff in Japanese? That is just because I use a Japanese computer and I'm a nerd and, you know, like I love like studying different languages. So for me, like I make my life harder by putting stuff into Japanese anyway. So, but when you go to this URL, it'll be English. So you should be able to sign up and you should be able to be connected with everybody. Once you're in, then you can start chatting. I'll show you Discord real quick, just so you know what that is as well. And while that loads, let me see, is there anything else I wanted to talk? Oh yes, Team Hack. So this is one more thing. Okay, here's Discord too, by the way, just so you can see it, right? So basically different channels on here for you to talk about software engineering, JavaScript, all kinds of cool stuff. As I said before, we're not just JavaScript LA anymore, it's HackBuddy. So you feel free to talk about whatever language you're interested in, better backend, Python, Java, Django, whatever you like. It's a good place to network after the meetup and stay in touch with everybody. Because I know, like, you know, these meetups are great, but, you know, a lot of you have questions and you want to keep them going. So that's Discord. Be sure to sign up. Then, hey! Hey! And so then there's also Team Hack, last thing here that I wanted to mention. So basically what this is an open source community that we built. And if you guys are interested in, you know, building stuff with us, not just watching meetups, I really recommend you to follow github.com/teamhack. I'll put a link to that in the chat. And let's see if I can find the chat. Here we go. Here's the chat. So real quick, I'll put in the link for our website, javascriptla.net. And then I'll also put in the Team Hack page. And just for good purposes, I'll probably also put in the Discord link. And so it's team, and even I get this wrong. So it's Team Hack, all spelled out. But you'll go here and let's do that one more time. Let's fix that. So you'll go here. And like I said, it's an open source community that you can join. We kind of code together projects. So if you're interested in learning things like, you know, React, Redux, Next.js, and you don't get this kind of experience at your work, you know, I was thinking, like, I kind of face the same problem sometimes too myself. Like at work, you know, we're kind of focused on one thing and we don't really move from it from a long time. This kind of gives you a chance to learn other stuff and work with a team. And then, you know, like good things can come out of that. You might, this might be an easier way for you to kind of get into open source and learn how to do that. And then you could go contribute to like a more professional open source thing later on that could help you out professionally. So I recommend you guys check out this. Sometimes we do fun stuff, like we also go on Twitch and then just pair program for fun. This is like a new project though, so I'm really kind of showing all of this kind of fun stuff that we're doing. Like I said, check it out. I'm not gonna, you know, completely take over this meetup, but I just wanted you guys to be aware of it. Any questions, let me know about anything I covered here. You can chat to me in the chat, or you can talk to me on Discord thereafter. Like I said, you know, jump in here and say hi. And I'm gonna hand it back to you, Heegu. Oh, I got one question. What is the Twitch for HackBuddy? Oh, so good question. So if I go back over to this landing page here, so I haven't really announced it yet, but like it's coming. So a little special preview, twitch.tv hackbuddyorg. So I'll put that for everybody. And let's see. Yeah, like I said, it's just something special we're doing, like outside of YouTube. YouTube is where we kind of do more professional videos. Twitch is where you can expect some unprofessional videos where we just kind of laugh and like joke around a lot, but we kind of like also pair program or like, you know, go over topics. And that's specifically to Team Hack because we want to get better and program better. So that's again why I'm mentioning it. All right, yeah, actually, before I hand it back to Heegu, I wanted to ask, does anybody have any questions so far, either in chat or you want to just say hello real quick beforehand? Okay, if no problem there, then I'm going to hand it off to you, Heegu.
Okay. Thank you, BJ. It's a
Yep.
great introduction.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. Let me share my screen first. Okay. Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for coming, and it's really great to meet you all here. And let's start. So today I will just briefly show the demo of my Kanban board, and then just go on the details of the Kanban board one by one. And then it's not that much code thing, but I'll just try to explain very low level, I mean easily, so like from the scratch, so anyone who doesn't have much experience in like coding, so they can do this, like not throughout this, but anyway they can. So yep, so my name is Heegu. Is Korean name, so maybe it's hard to say, but anyway, I'm full stack engineer. I was like my first job was software engineer like long time ago, but at that time I used Java, JavaScript, Oracle, but that time JavaScript was not that like great, not like this. So I don't want to use JavaScript that time. So I was a like Java and JSP developer, but the company asked me to do like the kind of a tech PM. So I just changed my career since then. So as a tech PM, I created like class diagrams or like sequence diagrams and a lot of documents. I wrote a lot of documents for software engineers and closely working with software engineers, UI designers. Sometimes I code it for like the software engineers because they are always busy. You know, we as a software engineer, we are always busy. We have to deal with a lot of tickets every day. So yeah, but I just accidentally, I'm not accidentally, just suddenly want to back to become a software engineer again. So I just took the bootcamp, and then, but like before taking the bootcamp, I coded like with the software engineers a lot. So like Node.js and JavaScript was very familiar with me, but that TypeScript and React, those are like very new to me. So yeah, and then I love coding, programming, developing. So in LinkedIn, maybe someone you have to visit, you maybe visited my LinkedIn profile. You can see some like the applications. I posted my applications weekly, #weekly Heegu. So there are some other applications, but this is one of them. And then BJ just saw it, and then he just contacted me to give this great opportunity. Okay, so, okay, demo. So this is the Kanban board that I built. This first page, if you visit the kanban.heegu.net, you will see this. You click the accept, you will just see this, and then you can just type the project name, and then if you click the start, you will just show Kanban board. So the reason why I add this is like I just want to use like all the URL to like and share the Kanban board with others. So if you just type in like this project name here and just click start, it will redirect to this URL. So it has like unique ID, and then there's a project name. So if you just copy and this and then go to another tab and just paste it, you will see the same thing. So basically it creates 3 columns like plan, progress, complete, but you can just change it. So planning, oops, forgot to enter, and then progressing, and then complete it like this. Or this is the snack bar. I use Material UI for all the UI framework. So there is the snack bar of Material UI. I just add it, and then if you just click plus button, you will see this kind of thing. You will just type in the what do I have to presentation?
Hey, Heegu, real quick.
Okay.
Can you increase the font? Somebody asked.
Oh, yeah.
They can't see.
So now, is it okay?
I think that's better. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the title of a car. So maybe you can presentation and enter. It creates the car, and if you click it, you will see the car details. Here you can add some details. So create a PPT, and then you can also create the checklist, clicking the add checklist item, and just add emoji. And also, if you just done with this, you can just check and it just complete, or you can just delete from here. And then, so you can set the due date like here. If you set the due date, it will just change the color of font. And then if you can also, I just make it more. Okay, so here, all the activities just checked right here, and then you can make some comment, hi, and then you will say right here. And then if you want to delete this card, or if you think you complete this card, you can just click complete, and it will show up like this. And then if you want to move the card to different place, you can move, or you can reorder the columns as well. So once you want just complete it, and then if you want to archive this card, click right, and this will create archive column. And then you cannot move this one, anything. You cannot move nothing. You can change anything in archive. So if you cannot change this. So, and then if you want to move the column, delete the column, you can just delete. So like this, but you cannot delete archive, or you can add another column here.
One other question for you, Heegu.
Okay.
Somebody's asking what the link is that you're using because they want to try it out on their computer too.
Oh yeah, it's Kanban. I can just drop it in the chatting.
Yes, please.
Where is the chat? Yep. Okay. Yeah. I found it.
Okay.
Yeah, here it is.
All right. Thank you so much.
No problem at all. Okay, so I think it's pretty much. So if you can use, you can see the same Kanban board from the URL. So yep, here. Okay, and then let's move back to the presentation. So that was my demo. And then, yeah, just if you have any questions, just please let me know, or let BJ know, and then he's gonna ask me. So yeah, so why Kanban? Weekly I created like applications. Sometimes I just like creating messenger. Sometimes I just calculate. But that week, like it was like a couple months ago. And then why did I choose to create Kanban? Because it has interesting features, it has drag, drop, and there's sort of like a lot of changing in front side. And then also you have to manipulate a lot of database kind of things. So it can give me a lot of like experience throughout building this application. So I chose to create this Kanban board. Then, Kanban board, every day I use Kanban board in Jira. So it's like part of our life as a software engineer. So I just want to create this by myself. And then, yeah, as I told before, like it has both front end a lot and then back end a lot. So I can experience both sides in the same time. And also like, it was like Min hackathon like a couple months ago, and some of my friends, they built Kanban board, and then they just posted their Kanban board. So, it was very interesting. So it was kind of motivation. So I just want to create this Kanban board. So I just made it. Okay, so what was the challenges? So I think I want to try to throughout my application every week, I just want to learn new technologies every week. So like for example, Material UI, I haven't any experience with Material UI. So a couple months ago, I just want to use it because I want to learn Material UI, this kind of thing. So server-side rendering. So I haven't any experience in using server-side rendering. So React is basically client-side rendering. So this server-side rendering is quite new to me. And then TypeScript, TypeScript has types and types with JavaScript with types. So I haven't used TypeScript before, so I just want to use new technologies into my application. And then the drag and drop thing is beautiful DND. So I just want to use the DND kind of thing. So, these days, a lot of webs, they have drag and drop functions. So I just want to add that into my application. So these were my challenges. So the technologies I use is like this, so TypeScript, Next.js. Next.js is server-side rendering. They are just web framework and providing server-side rendering with React. As of course, I use React and beautiful DND and UI framework. I use Material UI, mainly use Material UI, and database I use MongoDB because I use SQLs a lot, like PostgreSQL, PostGIS, but NoSQL, I haven't much experience in NoSQL, so I just want to learn more about the NoSQL. So I want to MongoDB as a database. So why Next.js? As I told before, I just want to learn server-side rendering. And then same time, I just saw the conference. It was last week, I guess, the Next.js conference. So I just registered that conference. And so I just want to learn what is Next.js. So one of my kind of learning something new thing is try to build with that technology. That is why one of my learning habits. So I just want to use Next.js. So what is Next.js? Maybe some of you have heard of it, but it's just React. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, it's just React front-end development web framework and server-side rendering and blah, blah, blah. So it first release is 4 years ago and then just written in JavaScript and TypeScript. So it has it provides all documentation for TypeScript. So I chose Next.js because it's a really good combination with TypeScript. And it's also web platform. So I just to create web application and yep. And then why Next.js? Just, as I told before, I just want to learn new technology, to experience that I've never experienced like Next.js or TypeScript. And then learning throughout building an application. I mean, I want to get used to new technology throughout building an application. So I chose Next.js for this Kanban board. Okay, so what is server-side rendering? So, I have no idea what is server-side rendering. So I just Googled it and it has this diagram. And there's a lot of different types of rendering, from server-side rendering and just full client rendering. And there's some hybrid things. And then as you can see, the examples bottom line, Gmail, HTML is the server-side rendering. And Next.js is kind of in the middle of full client-side rendering and server-side rendering. And then I guess that is client-side rendering. So, yep. So it doesn't give me any understanding of server-side rendering. So, yep. So why TypeScript? Maybe it's very interesting. JavaScript doesn't have any types. So you can just declare any variables, whatever you want, without any types. But sometimes it just has some errors without any reason. It's really hard to find where's that error come from. So, but TypeScript helps a lot. It gives a lot of the guide, a lot of the helps. So yeah, basically it's just another programming language developed and maintained by Microsoft, and then just superset of JavaScript and as static typing to the languages. So, and then it just introduced about 8 years ago. And then the file name extension is .ts. And in terms of React, it's just TSX. So TypeScript, also why TypeScript is same, I just repeating, but I'd like to learn new technologies and help me write code in more valid ways. And it saves me a lot of time to find bugs and fixing the errors. So yeah, you can see right side, there's a error, and you can see if you use TypeScript, and then you can just fix it. That's it. So server-side rendering and TypeScript, I don't know what to do with these two things, but I just try to just do it. So yeah. So the JS setup is pretty simple. You can just like using npx create next.app, and then it just creates all these directories, folders, files, and you can try to use run npm run star. You will see these kinds of web page, and yeah, that's it. So it's ready to go, I guess. And then TypeScript setup is also very simple. It's just npm install TypeScript, and then change the file name .js to .ts or .jsx to .tsx. And if you change the file extension, it will start like giving me your more like the errors. Like just for example, there's some you cannot modules, you cannot like you have just implicitly has on any types. You will see this kind of error. And then if you, in my case, I just try to go that error and then try to fix it. That's how I did it. So, okay. So if I see like a component has on any type, I will add like any, and then the error is gone. But it's a little bit strange, you know? This is not much different from JavaScript. Any works, but it's not different from JavaScript, just more code, even though all red lines are gone. So let me think. So if just simply adding any, I just thought, why do I have to use JavaScript? No difference from JavaScript. It's just adding more lines of code. So I try to Google it, and then there's a very good documentation in TypeScript. So you can add like also in Next.js provides very good documentation. So in that case, you can add like the type, like just in case like basic my app, you can add like app props. It will just has like all the types of what you need. So I just try to solve these errors like one by one like this. And then, but if you just create your custom function, it's not easy to just solve the error because it always says like red lines and with like has any types. So it made me crazy a lot. So first time I just add any and then see the function is working and then try to add like the types. That's how I did for the first time. And then yeah, just Google it and see some documentation in TypeScript. You can just try to learn one by one and get used to it one by one. So I have to add like the types, like the variables and then functions and then function parameters. And then you can just add all the types like string and return types void kind of thing. So if you add like that types into that parameter, the error is gone and it gives me more like the guide. So it's where it's from or like where you are seeing, or if you are using promise, you receive promise kind of thing. So it's really good. So yeah, it's really fun. And I think I got to know a lot about TypeScript, but not much, but just very basic, just functionalities. So more functions. So Next.js basically provides a lot of things like APIs, pages, and then routings, links. So if you use that, it makes every application very simple. So just routing is like if you, as you can see in my demonstration, you can see my URL. There's my unique ID and then project name. So you can just add that in similar to like this. So just create a folder with the router name and with the square brackets, like in this case, just square bracket with underscore ID. And then in that folder, you can just create a file, just file name with router name, like project. There is component name as well. And then you can just use that to, and if you just type in your like ID and project name, you will see that Kanban board like this. Also, yeah, so just input, this is my, like one of my endpoints. So basically, if you just visit the website first, it will just show the input box, and then if you type the project name, it will call this endpoint. So it will try to add that project name into database, and then if it is successful, it will just redirect to right here. So router that replace is redirect to that URL from as soon as you create the project name. So I use like this. Oh, and then once you get into the Kanban board, it will this is the first component that you will have, like the project name. So it will just try to render the main component once you got successfully the project names. So it will just start rendering the main component. And then if the URL is not in database, it means the URL is invalid, it will just redirect to the first page, which is just like the kanban.heegu.net. So yeah. And then this is I use for the router. So router, interface router has like ID, project, create, updates, and the data has like success and the data. So it's not that difficult. So just once you get used to it, you will love TypeScript. And then beautiful DND is the thing that I want to add for the drag and drop things. So basically, this is their GitHub page. So I just grab it from them. And then this is what I want for the Kanban board. So just move it to another column and move column to another place, and then just reordered in the column. So I just try to implement that into my application. So I just want to drag a column to reorder columns. And then second function is I just drag a column reorder in the same column or different column. So yeah, so I just use beautiful DND. And then there's three main concepts of beautiful DND. Has like draggable component elements can be reordered in droppable elements, and they should be in drag drop context. Everything like droppable and it's hard to say. Droppable and draggable elements should be inside the drag drop context, and then draggable elements should be inside the droppable context, droppable elements. So just say drag drop context is just playground, and then droppable is where you can drop your dragging element, and then draggable is the thing you can just drag to another place inside the droppable element. So this is my code, and then drag drop context has like this. So it has droppable, and then right side droppable has draggable. But it's not here, but inside the car body, the component. So yeah, this is basically how I use it. And then drag drop context has like on drag and like the event. So if you end dragging, that function just runs some like the functionalities like the save the data of the location positions, and then just change the order, reorder the cards, reorder the columns. So, yep. So this is on drag and function. So it's very long, this function. So just some of them is like move column. I just change the column order of the columns. So column has its order, and then I just change it in on drag and. So that so once you reorder your columns, it will just call this function to the change the data in the database. So I just create this endpoint, and then it just calls data, just calls the Mongo. It just connect to MongoDB, change the data in MongoDB, and then if it's successful, it returns the like okay and wrong, something happened kind of thing. Okay, so and this function is change the cars, reorder cars in same column. So in that case, I just have to compare like the droppable ID, like so which droppable that I have to locate that car. So if that's the same, it means it's the same column. So in that case, I have to change the car order in same column. So this is another API to reorder the car's position. Okay, and then this is the last function on drag and function. So this is just reorder the car to different columns. So in that case, the droppable ID should be different. So in that case, I have to change the column ID as well in the database. So I have to call another API endpoint. Okay. Okay, so it's a long journey, and then this is what I did. Just as you can see here, columns can be reordered, and then change the position in database as well. And then the cards are reordered in a same column, and then cards can be moved to another column. So yeah, this is how I used beautiful DND and MongoDB. Also, MongoDB is I just want to store all the routes first, because you create the project name, I store that project name and with unique ID, and then to let users to visit the specific Kanban board if it's created. I want to store all the cars and the column data. Like cars has like checklists, and then activities, and then some like the subtitles, due dates. I just want to store all the information in database. I just also want to store the positions of all cars and the columns. So I just did this using MongoDB. So MongoDB, I use MongoDB Cloud. It's cloud.mongodb.com. It's very simple. It's free, maybe for like the very low, like the usage. So, and then I used MongoDB Compass as a client to access the MongoDB Cloud. So if you just create any like the collection, you will see like this, and then you don't need to create any like schema, but like other like the PostgreSQL, you have to create schema first and then start using it. But this one doesn't need it. So you just create the collection, that's it. And then other things are just from your code. So yeah, just inside the middleware, I just create 2 folders. One is for the DB, and then that I use also Mongoose to try to do some like the connection for the MongoDB. So in the DB directory, I have to like store some data, like to connect MongoDB that I created in MongoDB Cloud, and then models has like all the kind of very similar to the schema things. So the table name, and then the column names. And so in this case, router schema has like the project and column order, and then like activities has like card ID because it is on the card and activities. And also cut has like a lot of like it depends on column ID. So it has column ID, card title, notes, and then compare this due date and also order, and also timestamps. And checklist has card ID. This is very similar to just schema 2, like the SQL database. And yeah, so also column has like the project ID because it depends on the project. So title color index. Color index is like you'll see the colors on the columns. So it has that. So yeah. So I use I create my endpoint, use Next.js endpoint. You can use your own, you can create your own API like using Node.js, but Next.js like provides very like simple and good API endpoints. You can just simply create it. So it's just under pages folder and create just API folder and then create a file with any name. So you can see here add dash activity is like /API add activity endpoint. So it's very simple. So yeah, I will just briefly explain some of them. So this is just add card API endpoint. So the file name is API card. So it becomes API card endpoint. And then there's like request and response. Also Next.js provides some type scripting. So next API request as a type to the request. Next API response is type to the response. And yeah, so other things are just very similar to the other, like the common API endpoints, just getting card. And so here is the thing, I use MongoDB, so just create the card and then just, I use their function, fine. So this just same as like the select from card where column ID. So, and then that data goes into cards and then I just send that card information to the return that card information with some like the JSON type. So yeah, and yeah. Oh, so here is the other thing is like if you add U in front of the card, it's just insert into. So you can use it like this. It's very simple and yeah, very good. Also, like another API endpoint is reorder card. So I have to change the order as the card is reordered. So I have to update. So you can see here, the card.update one is also provided by MongoDB, and then update card just said, this is very similar to this SQL query. So just once you've done, I just return that response. And then this is just add router. So I created like 3 columns, like plan, progress, complete, and then archive. But archive is not showing because until you archive some columns. So anyway, I just create 4 columns once you create your projects. So I just return that columns to as a JSON type to the client. So this is my API router endpoint. And this is just create a column named plan. And this is progress. This is complete. This is archive. So, and then return all data. Okay. Okay. And this is just I spent a lot of time to get this data all together, and then it was easy for me to do this, but just how I did like this, I just first find one based on the ID. I just found that project based on the ID, and then try to get all the columns based with that project ID. So this is just find columns by project ID. And then there are 2 types of columns. One is just normal. the other one is archive. So I just find the normal columns and then just find cards by column ID because card has column ID in its table and then has found data to columns. And then I use pipeline here. So cause I have to try to find like column ID and then is archived or not. And then also I have to add checklist. Checklist is based on the card ID. So I have to add all the checklist data. And then also I have to add like all the activity data. So I used pipeline to aggregate all the data and to populate all this together. So here's like, here's for the archive column. So I just try to find the category archive, and then so the other things are the same. Just find cards by column ID, and then add data to columns, and then checklists and activities, and then add activities to the card data, and then just return all columns together based on the project ID. Okay, so this is just calling API endpoints from the client side, like the components. So yeah, it's pretty much similar to other like the applications. I just, this is add router patch. I use patch, and then if it's successful, I just router replace to that UUID/project name. And if, okay, and then I just, when I add a card, I just call this API endpoint that I create for the Next in the Next.js API endpoints. I use that, and then I just add data into MongoDB and then return that information. Any questions? Right? No?
Yeah,
okay.
Actually, we do have some questions, so I'm gonna just real quick go through.
Okay.
So the first one came from Gino. He was asking, or she, I guess, I'm not sure. How much time did you take for doing the Kanban board?
Oh, I don't
busy
know
right now,
actually. Excuse
I'm
me?
busy right now.
If you're not on, hold on one sec. Okay, go ahead. I'll mute the other person. Go ahead, Heegu.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I'm almost done. Yeah. So this is another like the API endpoint add card, and then this is reorder column. So I just reorder
real quick. Yeah, he just wanted he wanted to know how long it took, and then we have a couple other questions, and then
okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't do this like 8 hours per day for a week. So I just did this like whenever I had some time. So maybe I spend like about like 20 hours like per week. Not per week, just total 20 hours. Like, yeah, so there I spent some time to try to get all the data, get columns. I spend so much time to do it using pipeline things. So I have to look the documentation of MongoDB. So that takes so much time, but the other things are not that much. But so maybe I spend like 20 hours. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else asked, does this API endpoint support notifications to be sent out as the board is updated and someone updates the board?
Oh, no, it's not. I didn't use socket.io because in that case, I have to use socket like connection to notify to the another like the other people, but I didn't use it. But if you want, you can just add socket.io here, socket connection.
Okay. All right. Somebody else, no asks, I noticed you keep the API routes being called within the components instead of the central routes folder. Is this a Next.js pattern?
Oh, don't understand the question. So what was it? It's like,
So,
can I see?
I think he was asking, like, where do you keep the API routes? You keep it in a different folder in your code.
Yeah, this is predefined by the Next.js. Maybe if you can keep that in different like the folder, but you have to create like another like the function to call that APIs. So if you just create all the APIs inside the API and pages and API, when you run Next.js, it will automatically load all the API endpoints automatically. But if you create in other like the folders, they have to add like call someone else, like not using that Next.js.
Oh, and then he said later that he figured out it is an API folder. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Then Sherry asks, what are you referring to as your pipeline?
A pipeline is like simply saying just comparing with the SQL, the query is like the subquery, like the inside the select query, you can add like select query. So pipeline is provide very similar functions. So maybe you can add like the subquery inside your main query.
All right. Okay, we're good on questions, so you can continue. Oh, wait, we got one more. Do you use any other UI component library besides MUI?
Probably, yeah, this is my code. And then I think I used custom CSS maybe, but I don't remember. But yeah, let me see. Okay, board. No, I just used custom CSS and material, I guess. Yeah, this is my custom CSS. Yep.
All right.
Oh yeah, it's 34-inch ultra wide screen. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I didn't use the React Bootstrap or Chakra. I didn't use Chakra UI. I just use Motor UI and custom CSS. Okay. Any other questions?
I think we're good so far. Oh, wait, one more question. Somebody, Kat asked, will you be giving a link to the slides that you're showing us? Do you have a link for that? And then one more time, if you can post in the chat your GitHub, that would be great.
Okay. My GitHub, I can type it here. And slide, I already gave BJ, like via LinkedIn.
That's right. So I was looking for it on LinkedIn. So I'll get that to you all in a minute as well.
Yeah, so this is my GitHub. Oh, not everyone. Yep. Okay. Thank you, Matthew.
Perfect. And I found the PDF, so I'll get that out to everybody.
Great.
I'll put that on Discord.
Great. Sounds great.
All right.
Okay. So okay. So did you find Material UI covered most of your UI needs? You did not need to create custom UI elements. Oh, my PDF slide link. Maybe he's gonna share it via Discord. Share it.
Yeah, one sec here. I'll get that to everybody. But
I can share here too. Yeah, no
fine.
problem at all.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great too. Just one sec. But go ahead and continue your presentation if you like to. That's totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this almost done, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, it's not for everyone. I cannot share the file here, right?
So what I'm trying to do is create a drive,
Okay.
Google Drive link.
Okay.
Don't worry about it, okay? I'll get
Yeah.
the slides.
Yeah, so this is how I deploy in AWS. So if you build the Next.js, you will see this kind of the structure. So maybe cache, server, and static, and then you have to redirect all the traffic to like that next or underscore next. So I have to add like nginx config like this. So just location like this next and API. Yeah, even though I'm using Next.js API, I have to pass that part to the root location, and then the last one is like for the routing things. So if I'm using like the unique ID slash and the project name, so from that URL you have to redirect to the root port. So I have to access in your nginx config file. Also, yeah, so that's it. So this is what I done throughout this application, building this application. So just I have experience in building server-side rendering application, and then I experienced TypeScript, even though it's not that so much professional and like experience skills, but I just experienced TypeScript, and then I just create a working application. So you can see in my homepage, you will see the application. And so, yeah, this diagram, I didn't understand at all first time, but now I can understand a little bit. So Next.js is like between the server-side rendering and full client-side rendering. So, and then there's some pros and cons. Maybe pros is flexible. I know it's flexible, so it provides a lot of functions, APIs, routings, but it could be slow. But yeah, but even though, yeah, it's not that like super big application. If not, maybe Next.js is the answer, I guess. Okay, so yeah, it's done, I guess. And then thank you for coming, and sorry for like that smooth presentation, and then just feel free to reach out to me, and then I can answer every questions that you have, like via LinkedIn, email, GitHub, whatever you want. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, so we got more questions for you. Don't run away.
Okay.
So we have a question from Joey. He says, are you building out your pipeline? And are you building this as an image before pushing this up as AWS?
No, I didn't. I didn't use any pipeline to push into the AWS because it's very small and it's personal.
He says,
okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, somebody asks, or I guess they just say, what did you use to create that custom link? I think you have a custom on your Kanban, like when you started up, right?
You mean the unique ID with the type project name? Because you can share.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh yeah. Because you can share that project with others.
But he's asking, or she's asking, like, how did you make it?
How did I make it? So I use. Oh, you mean the unique ID? I used the unique ID npm. Is that your answer?
Sierra, do you want to jump in?
Yeah.
Yes, Sierra, go ahead.
Hey. No, yeah, I was asking basically how you make that and make it shareable, I guess. How you made that URL.
Oh yeah, basically I create the unique ID, use npm myUUID, and then just project name. So if you have two, and then I use Next.js, it has routing and link functions. I use that so to redirect to your the board to that specific URL. So as you can see here, like router that replace that just redirect to the current URL to your custom URL.
Gotcha.
has that
Thank you.
function. Yep. Where did I deploy AWS? I used Nginx and AWS OS Ubuntu. Okay, any other questions?
Somebody has a question. Sherry has a question. Sherry, if
Okay.
you want, you can unmute yourself and say
Okay,
it.
sure. Yeah, please.
Or if you want to type it out, that's fine too.
Yep.
Okay, so how might you find out when you max out on your MongoDB free account?
I actually don't know, but I heavily use MongoDB a lot. Like I use MongoDB, like I have like more than 10 like the collections documents, and then I heavily use MongoDB, but they haven't charged error yet. Yeah, so it's a toy project, but like some collections have more than like 1,000 or like 10,000, more than 10,000 lines, but I haven't paid error yet.
Oh, by the way, so Heegu has our poll on his browser. So I shared a link for the poll a couple times in the chat. I'll share it again as I'm talking. Oops, I sent it to the wrong person. But after this meetup, please go ahead and let us know how we did. Just let us know like what you thought of the meetup. This is to help us make sure that we, hear everybody's feedback, because I know like sometimes it's one way. We want to hear from everybody. So yeah, help us fill out that form, and we'll be able to provide you with all kinds of great stuff in the future as a result. Okay, so let's see here. Any other questions? Let's see here. Yeah, anybody else have questions? What do you guys think of Next.js? Or I guess I can put that to you, Heegu. What do you think of Next.js versus doing it by React?
I don't know, maybe more like I mean, more better looking web application. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Like I think Next is really powerful, and definitely the stuff that you were showing.
Yeah, it's powerful. Yeah.
Like it makes it, like from what I was watching too, I was kind of like taking pictures and trying to, answer the chat. But whenever I kind of did see this, I know I'll have to watch the video afterwards just to kind of double check. But you had a lot of cool like API routes, a lot of different like I guess controllers or stuff that you built, like kind of handling the Mongo aspect. I was just going to ask you, I guess, like, was there a reason that you decided to write out a whole bunch of schemas and work with SQL, work with an SQL kind of way with Mongo, and not just use the Mongo like functions to begin with? Because I think they don't really use, like, I haven't seen a lot of schemas documentation, but I was just curious about that.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I just like want to use MongoDB by myself. So and then I just Googled it and see some documentation. I thought it was like the easiest way to run MongoDB, how to use MongoDB.
Okay.
So I just use it that way.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, I think I had studied some tutorials like a while back, like when I was first learning Mongo. And I remember kind of doing it in a schema way. I think I used Mongoose or something.
Mongoose.
And then later, like I started, just kind of using Mongo like itself. I think like they have a pretty good wrapper, but I was just curious.
Oh yeah, totally agree with you. Like, but like from the beginners, like using Mongoose is much easier.
Okay.
It's like between SQL and MongoDB, so it's right in the middle of between two. So
if you're
it just lowers the hurdles.
Yeah, so if you're coming from like an SQL background, it's kind of like an easy transition over to like using NoSQL.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you mind like kind of pulling that up one more time? I did want to see the API folder one more time, just kind of like look at some of those, you know, just routes and like Mongo interactions you were doing.
Okay. Yep. Just one sec.
Sure.
Oh, that this one, right?
Yeah, just kind of like how like your app was kind of working with the backend. That was very interesting.
Yeah. So this is the structure of my application, or the interface for the TypeScript is like under interface folders like this.
Sure.
And then this is all the components that I built for the front end side for, and then here is the middleware under. This is just Mongoose connection. Use Mongoose for the MongoDB connection.
Right.
And this is the schema for MongoDB using Mongoose. And then there's pages. So this is the square bracket underscore ID is unique ID that redirect to that URL. And
Okay.
This is project.
Yeah. Maybe just kind of scroll through that too. That was very interesting as well. Okay. Yeah. Keep going.
Yep. And then this is API that I built. So yep. And the add activity is just adding activity. I use this. This is also Mongoose function, I guess.
Right.
And then yeah. And yep, pretty much similar. Yeah, just I use all the Mongoose functions like delete one, right? Checklist delete one like this, and get louder is just find one, and then which one is huge? This one is huge. So get columns. So I use match and pipeline here.
Very cool.
So it gets all the checklist data. This one gets all the activity data and add them into card data, and then populates with the column ID.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. Like everything is very simple. Just update, add, delete. So yeah, other things are just like very similar to copy and paste, but just get columns. I took some time to create these pipelines and like make some difference between the normal columns and the archived columns.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like we have a few more comments in the chat. Let's see here. So let's see here. Joey loves your slides. Great work on the presentation. Sherry says great work. Same with Gino. Let's see, Mongo makes it a lot faster than Schema. Let's see, I'm gonna scroll through it because I think some of this is old. Let's see. So I guess Dylan like asked Joey, but I'm gonna ask you as well. Despite being more tedious to write out schema, do you lose any of the potential type checks? And that's actually a good question. Do you like, how do you handle types with Mongoose? Do you use TypeScript like with your backend?
Types for the Mongoose?
Yeah.
I don't understand quite well, but
so so basically like you use TypeScript maybe for these interfaces, right, on the front end, but what about the back end? I guess that's the question.
Oh, what about the MongoDB TypeScript kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh, they have their own like TypeScript section in their documentation section.
I see.
So I just studied their documentation in MongoDB, and then they give some examples, and then there's a very good explanation about how to use MongoDB with TypeScript. So
Gotcha.
it's not that difficult. Yeah, there's a lot of examples.
Yeah, and you have an interface, definitely. Okay, that's really good. Let's see here. So somebody else is asking, doesn't using schema fit the MVC pattern better? I guess like I'll take that one. Like,
Okay.
I mean, like, yeah, if you're building kind of like a model view controller kind of website or like web app, yeah, then like I think a schema does definitely make more sense. Although like with Next.js, I'm not as sure like if it is an MVC or if it's just like a tool that is a little bit better than the regular Create React app, right? Because this is meant for like static site building, but it's also, what would you say, Heegu? Like, would you say that, it's, you get more of the back end with this too, but would you say it's like a full-fledged MVC similar to something like Rails or, Laravel? I don't know.
Yeah, MVC is, I guess, it's good for like the bigger projects, like a lot of components, both sides, like the front end, a lot of components, like if you see LinkedIn, it has more than like 1,000 components and functions, like chatting, everything. But in that case, MVC is really great for those kinds of applications. But this is just simple application, and just I did this myself, one person. So I don't think that much about the MVC, and I just using just very simple ideas, like just, and when I create this, I just did it back and forth, like just create some front end side, and then I need an API, and then just create backend APIs like this, back and forth. So yeah, so I didn't use any MVC patterns, but yeah, maybe if it's bigger project like real Kanban board, maybe we have to use MVC pattern. That is more durable.
Okay. I was just kind of reading through some of these extra questions or comments. So it looks like Joey was kind of explaining something here too to Node. Also, Dylan. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, but if anybody has like a pressing question, feel free to just throw it in again one more time. Joey, well, let's see here. Dylan says, how is the interface taken from MongoDB to use in your React types? So Dylan, not sure if I understand your question, but can you rephrase it?
Yeah, so let's say that you get response from API and it's particularly the shape. Where are those API types created, or how can you view them so that way when you need to type, let's say, a piece of data in your, let's say, state, where is that type coming from, the shape of the type? Does Mongo have a auto type creator that you can pull an interface from and then use it, or do you have to manually type those yourself?
I have manually typed myself, but I think MongoDB has their own types. But in this case, in this application, I just manually typed right here, like just for example, like this.
Got it.
Yeah. As Joey said, types are just inferred. Yeah, that's true.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions? Comments? If you don't want to type it out, you can just, say it.
There's one question is, this is just normal folder structure in Next.js. Yes, it is. It's normal. I didn't change anything. This is just very normal and basic Next.js folder structure.
All right. Okay. If there aren't any other questions, basically, then I just want to basically thank you. One more says, did you draw a diagram before creating a project? Great idea. Great question. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't, but this is just personal project, and then so it's very small, and then I don't want to spend time to draw diagrams, like anyway. But diagram is really good for like when you work with other teams, like other guys. But I just did it by myself alone, so I don't need any diagram. Yeah.
So actually, I wanted to ask like a question
Mhm.
with that in mind. So when you're building this out, are you just
Uh-huh.
kind of like imagining it in your head and then, you know, building it out and then just looking at what you get, or like how do you know like you're doing it right?
Oh, yeah. Basically, I don't have any like the sense of like the design, like the color. So when I try to build an application, I try to find similar like application like Kanban board something. So this is just copy of like what is it, Meistertask. And then so I just try to copy their UI front end side and how it works. I try to like study that application like front end side and then try to build one by one like, oh, the column is moving, and then I try to find which component, which modules do I have to use. So I just try to find beautiful D&D, and maybe there's another one is like called like D&D kind of thing, React D&D or thing, but I just compare them, and but beautiful D&D is more suitable for me. I chose it, and then I try to implement into the application. So like first page is like just there's some like the big box, 3 big box, and then just like reorder them using beautiful D&D and start adding like some colors and adding some colors and just adding some data. So yeah, this is how I built application.
Definitely. That's really great. How do you stay motivated to keep doing it?
Yeah, cause I actually enjoy building application like coding. I love coding. You know, like coding like shows something like, oh, there's something that I can build. Is like gives me like a good feeling, like, you know, it's working, and oh, it gives me some confidence, like kind of thing. So yeah.
Nice.
So
So you're-
that's my motivation. Also, this one is like motivation is like some of my friends, they went to Minpin hackathon and they built Kanban board, and it was really great. And then they just post in LinkedIn. So I just saw it. Oh, I want to really make that Kanban board too. So
yeah.
there was another motivation.
Yeah, you wanted to step up.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. I think this is a great project for anybody watching, you know, or listening in. I think, you know, this is definitely stuff like I said to you too, I think this is a great project
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
on
yeah,
LinkedIn. People should.
yeah. Really great.
Did you have a question, Sam, or you just forget to? Hang on one sec. Okay, sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we're kind of getting towards the end of this presentation. So I just wanted to say thank you again for
Thank you. My pleasure.
yeah, for doing this. This is really great. Like I said, I think you are great enough to do a presentation. So yeah, like
Thank you. Thank
no
you.
worries about language. I think the code speaks for itself.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. I wanted to just take one more moment to basically share with everybody once more. I know like some people came late. I'll do a quicker one this time. At this time too, if you want to drop in your LinkedIn info or, you know, some way for people to contact you, and this is for everybody, you know, please do so in the chat. So that way you guys can, and girls can, you know, stay in touch with each other. With that said, though, like if you want to come back to this group and you like everything, please do fill out, you know, the survey. I left a link for it in the chat. If you don't have it, feel free to private message me, and I'll get you a link. Let us know how we're doing, so that we can give you better meetups and better content. We have moved from just being a JavaScript group to more of a software engineering focused group, and that's the direction. So for now, resource javascriptla.net. This is where you're going to want to go, like for the next 90 days. Then after that, we're going to be slowly introducing hackbuddy.com, which is something we already have, as well as hackbuddyorg and all the other different URLs, I guess, the main ones at least. If you want to see this video afterwards, you want to go to youtube.com/hackbuddyorg and then basically subscribe. be sure to, look in the playlist area. So we have the meetup videos. This one was from the previous week or the last 2 weeks ago, I want to say. This was the Gatsby meetup. And then this one was with Ben, Next.js. So go here and check out those videos. And we have some other videos too if you want to learn how to do some more other JavaScript stuff, including ES6 or React. And then, like I said to everybody before, Discord is the best way to chat with us after the meetup. So be sure to join our Discord and, say hello in here. It's a great place to just kind of continue like conversations even after like, a meetup. And if you're waiting for a meetup, you can ask questions about like an upcoming meetup as well. Team Hack is where we do open source coding. And this is something that some people asked me at the beginning through private message. What is that? So this is a brand new thing that we're doing where people can go and do open source coding with us. It's kind of nice because we have our own GitHub. So feel free to go and follow this. It's github.com/team-hack, or the website is just teamhack, all spelled out, no-.org. And then basically, yeah, either links will get you to them, and then you can start working with us. We want to build things like Kanban boards. One thing we're working on too is currently is a storybook with React. So you might want to be into that. Might want to check out this repo and work with us. Some of the benefits of working with a team like us is that you learn to code a little bit better. You have other people who can look at your code and help you also peer review and do better. This is an easier way to kind of get into professional open source. And we have a lot of cool sponsors helping us out. I won't say who just yet, but like other than Farmers. Farmers is always great. So be sure to go and check out Farmers too, because Farmers is one of our main sponsors, and they are always hiring. So just throw that up as well. I should say that more often. So this is their website. Go here if you're looking for work. This is a great place to go and work at. And then finally, yeah, like I was saying with this Team Hack, right, we do pair program, we do help each other get better. So you'll probably want to like follow us on Twitch, and I'll just put the link up for that as well, twitch.tv/hackbuddyorg. So go here and yeah, again, apologize for Japanese font. That's just me. Like if you know me in person, I like to confuse myself a little bit harder because I like studying different languages. All right. I'm going to go back to the chat and we'll see here. It looks like you guys are all doing great, linking in. All right. Thank you so much for attending. And yeah, if you don't have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me later. All right. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming. And yeah, thank you, Sherry, for the funny comments. Okay. All right. Bye, everybody. Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night.
Good night.